Hi, I'm Frolic in the Forest. Welcome to my channel where I talk about my Sylvanian families and Calico Critters collection as well as DIY projects and crafts. If you're like me, you have a few of these Freya dolls hanging around in your collection. And the good news is these are great bases for a custom critter. So let's make a new custom rabbit for my collection. For this particular custom, I'm inspired by the markings of the English spot rabbit. And here are some examples of all the colors that this really cute rabbit comes in. I may do a few of these colors as custom figures later on, but today I'm going to do a kind of a cinnamon chocolate color for my little rabbit. I've used pencil to draw out the shapes of the markings of my rabbit, and I'm using fabric paint to paint them. I'm going to be mixing orange and brown to create the color that I want to use. I'm thinking about the color cinnamon or just kind of a warm brown. So I unintentionally mixed the chocolate rabbit color. That's okay though. That just means that my custom coloration, especially on the ears, will be almost seamless. So for this particular rabbit, the tops of the ears are the solid color that the rabbit is, and then the markings are the color. So there's not a ton to paint on this one. It's a pretty easy custom if you want to get your toes wet. So keep that in mind. And you can also just customize the markings however you want. Even if you're using an inspiration, don't feel like you are bound by that inspiration at all. If you wanted to make heart shapes around her eyes or change the size or shape of the muzzle, you absolutely can. So just have fun with it. Remember, these custom critters are custom and they are special and unique for your collection. A reminder, if you haven't seen my other custom painting videos, whenever you are painting a shape or something that has a boundary, make sure that you are saturating your brush with color and saturating that edge of the shape because the flocking may move a little bit as it dries and it will change the shape of um, the area you're painting slightly or just kind of create a slightly frayed look. But if you have a good amount of paint on the edges especially, it holds the shape that you're painting and looks a little bit cleaner and crisper. You noticed I'm also sort of almost painting over the eyes. I got a little bit heavy-handed with that. Normally I don't just like completely ignore um, avoiding the eyes like this. I, it just causes me more work later. But if you get a little bit of paint on the eyes, don't worry, just let it dry and use the edge of a razor blade, an X-Acto knife, something like that, and just gently scrape the dried paint off the plastic, and it usually comes off with no problem. As you're painting, make sure you keep the paint as even as you can. That will prevent any variations in the paint color as it's drying. So just keep that in mind as you are putting on your color. Whenever I'm doing a custom and I get a chance to, I like to paint their paws or leave them unpainted. It's such a nice little extra detail that I don't think happens a lot in the factory figures, but it's a really neat opportunity to create something very unique. So don't forget to add a little paint to their paws or give them a little painted toe or a foot or, anything like that, because a lot of real animals have those colorations, and it's just another fun way to make something very unique for your own collection. I got this figure in a lot on eBay, and I noticed that her hands were unique, and I did a little research, and it looks like she might have held a violin at one point, but I don't have the instrument and or anything like that, and she was unclothed if she had a specific outfit. But I just think it's really interesting how her hands are shaped, and I really like that. It's something different. I really wish all of the figures had grippy hands. They stopped doing that, or they do that kind of randomly, but it would be nice if they all had grippy hands just to add accessories a little bit more easily. That's just a little random thought from me. Whenever you're doing a custom paint job on one of these figures, think about drying times and also positions because you can paint yourself into a corner and end up having your paint sticking to something while it's drying. So for this particular figure, her backside is almost completely unpainted, so that makes it very easy to lay her down to dry. But if you're doing a more comprehensive paint job, think about maybe doing one portion first, letting it dry, and then doing another portion, that kind of thing, just so that you don't mess up all the hard work you've done. And if you've got a custom color that you're worried about losing, if you have to wait for your figure to dry, you can cover the paint with plastic wrap, and it'll stay wet for at least 24 hours. So don't panic about that. Just make sure you mix up enough of your custom color to paint all the figures you need to. That's the harder trick, really. And here's how our little Freya English spotted rabbit inspiration turned out. I just quickly made her a little felt dress with a little pattern on Pinterest that's super easy. It's like one piece and then you sew the little sides. I added a ribbon and a little carrot detail with some painted dots, and voila, a unique outfit. There's a little spot for her tail, which is so, so cute. I really like her. I think she's adorable and charming. And I definitely want to try more of this pattern, maybe in some different colors, maybe give her a whole family. I just think this was a really fun experiment as far as markings. Whoops. And she's acrobatic, apparently. um, yes, this was extremely easy custom, especially since the brown color almost perfectly matched the chocolate hopscotch rabbit color anyway. So, I mean, there really wasn't a way to mess this up. Um, yeah, I think she's adorable. And so I would definitely recommend this custom if you like the way she turned out. Super duper cute. And, you can add as much or as little as you want. She could have more spots, look more freckled. She could have just one eye patch. Her muzzle could be a little bit smaller, or maybe it could even join the eyes in a larger face mask. So really the possibilities are endless with this type of custom. And the
dark brown on the cream fur is such a pretty combination, which is why, of course, the hopscotch rabbit is the mascot of Calico Critters and Sylvanian families. But this little Freya has a new lease on life. She needs a new name and a new story. And I, hopefully will be a great part of my little forest village. I hope you enjoyed this custom, and I will see you next time.